Hello and welcome to EUTV Sports Update. We'll be looking at the latest sports news from Evangel University and around the region. I'm Eric Patterson.
We'll also look at college football across the nation and check out the latest happenings in professional sports. I'm Cadence Washam and this is Sports Update on EUTV. Evangel Sports has had an amazing fall season. And I'm really excited because this episode we're going to showcase some of the top 10 of this fall sports and all the fall sports, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So let's kick it off with our number 10 on the list. Coming in at number 10 on the list, we have sophomore tennis player Lola Federski placing second in the KCAC Individual Championships on Saturday, September 16th. Federski won her first two matches 8-2 and 8-3 until barely losing in the first place match 8-6. Number 9, we have redshirt junior linebacker Bradley Myers. Myers led the NAIA this season with total tackles and tackles per game, averaging double-digit tackles per game at 12.6. Myers was also named the KCAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Number 8, senior golfer Tayton Hopkins led the Valor in the EU Fall Invite. Hopkins played 3 consistent rounds, hitting 73 after every round to finish in second overall with a score of 219. This was Tayton's best score of the fall season. Number 7, sophomore running back Eric Williams broke the school record for touchdowns in a single game. He scored 5 total touchdowns in the game against St. Mary. Williams also tied the school record with 4 rushing touchdowns.
Number 6 is highlighting senior volleyball player Mallory Dick's performance in October 18th versus Southwestern. Dick was key in the Mound Builders and sweeping the Mound Builders as she had 13 kills and 2 blocks. Coming in at number 5, we had the Valor men's soccer defense. Despite a losing record, the Valor boasted the top scoring defense in the KCAC. In 16 games, they only gave up 18 goals against, which allowed the Valor to stay close in almost every match. 2 in the rankings is the cross-country team qualifying 2 runners for the national meet in Vancouver, Washington. Sophomore Macy Kopp and freshman Joshua Rust represented the Valor well as they placed 147th and 231st among the nation's best. This is the second consecutive season that the cross-country team qualified a pair of runners. Rounding out the list at the top, we have the football team making the NAIA playoffs. Ranked 9th, the Valor had a bye in the first round and then traveled to Tennessee to face off against number 7 Bethel. Evangel battled strong, but in the end, Bethel's offense was too much for Evangel, winning 40-13, ending the Valor's perfect season. Despite the result, this special season will be remembered for years to come. Yeah, so this is really cool that we get to do this segment, top 10 moments and awards and different things. Like, we have a lot of different players and teams getting this.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool is that every fall sport had recognition in some way or another. Either an individual or the soccer had defense for the men's soccer. Even though they didn't have that great of a season, they had a lot of ties, but they still had a defensive award, which is really cool for them.
Yeah, and then the football team had so many. Like, we had to leave some out. There was a lot that we could have put in there. But, like, shout out to the football team.
Yeah.
Y'all did amazing.
And then, even though their season is over against Bethel, that was a really good team they played. And they were ranked 7. And Evangel gave their all, which our quarterback, R.J. Wakely, actually got injured in the second quarter. So that was really sad. So it would have been what would have happened if he didn't get injured. But it was a really good game.
Definitely a good look for next season. Coming up next, I'll be here with football player Bradley Myers to talk about the football season.
And later, we'll look at some of the most significant college games from the weekend and see if the Chiefs were able to pull off a win. We'll be right back.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Welcome back. I'm here with football player Bradley Myers. Thank you, Bradley, for being here with us today.
For sure.
Yeah. So what brought you to Evangel?
Kind of what brought me to Evangel was just, just my parents. My parents were alum from here. They just always kind of told me about this place, and, just coming from high school and stuff, I started just reaching out to the coaches, and the coaches started coming to our school, and then they just kind of, they talked to me, and I knew this place was going to be home.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself before you were at Evangel.
So before I was at Evangel, through high school, always played football, always loved playing it. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do coming here and stuff, but my mom's always been into real estate and everything, so I knew coming here I'd probably find some type of degree around that, which ended up being finance and stuff. And I've always enjoyed like kind of the number financial side of stuff, and so I just started digging into that, and then but I didn't really know much of who I was, but college definitely figured that out, I'd say.
That's good. Yeah, so you like the number side of it. Has that like translated to football in any way?
I'd say a little bit, definitely with DeSoto's defense and just playing the game, everything between like breaking down film and everything. It's all a big numbers game, percentage game, finding tendencies inside the numbers of what they do on the opposing team and stuff. And I'd say, yeah, it's definitely carried over.
Yeah, so what's like typical preparation you do as a linebacker throughout the week?
I'd say it's a ton of film breakdown, trying to find every little tendency you can find in practice, just, preparing like the practice is like the game, and that's one thing a lot of our coaches preach, just, not giving half effort in practice and then giving full effort in the game, making sure, you're giving 100% in practice, and just preparing for the people around you to make sure all you guys are on the same page. So then whenever you get on the field, you can look to the guy to the left and to the right, in front and behind you, and know they're going to do their job. And, that's kind of, that's a big testament to, all our guys this year, and the success we had, just being able to trust the guy all around us.
Yeah, I definitely noticed how tight-knit the team has been this year. So this past week we had the playoff game against Bethel. How is that different? Is there different preparation through that, or how does that look compared to a regular season game?
So I'd say we had the bye week, so we had a little extra time. We didn't know who we were going to play, but the coaches being the coaches, they were already getting ready, and they were already preparing for Bethel a little bit, thinking we might play them. But I'd say we went into kind of the same preparation as a normal week. We just kind of treated the playoff game as, the next game. And we always look at it on the week. Our big saying is just, let's go 1-0 this week. It's just another team in the way of just a little roadblock and stuff. So we just got to get past it. And, unfortunately that game, we didn't get past the hump, but, we're going to use that as fuel for this upcoming season and off season.
Yeah, 100%. It's still a really good season. So I know you learned the KCAC Defensive Player of the Year. So what are some of the small things or some big things that you did throughout the year just to you saw yourself to get to that?
I'd say my biggest thing was just, just relying on God. God's got me to the place I'm at now. I would be able to do nothing without, just who God's formed me and changed me into be. I want to go all out of my relationship with God. I want to put Him first in each and everything that I do. And, we use the field, and the coaches talk about this, and I just view it as you'll be in church service and you'll worship, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that field is like my place. Like, I feel like I can all out worship God, And I do that just by trying to give as much effort as I can out on the field just to honor God's name. And, you know, there's kind of this saying that kept sticking in my head through the last couple games. Is just like, we use the game to proclaim his name. And, you know, that's just everything. And, you know, I feel like that was a huge part for just the success this season. But, you know, like, none of that would have been possible too. Like, God was the biggest part. Then you got, you know, one of the best defensive coordinators in the whole nation, like DeSoto. I mean, he has one of the best schemes I've ever seen. He makes you look at the game from a whole different perspective. He pushes you. And then, like, the guys around me, like, I got my brother on the D-line. I had all these amazing players there. These people behind me, my linebackers, everyone, just like, they were some ballers. They were some ballers for sure, and it's a big testament to them too.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, especially because I know we are a Christian university, but not every Christian university really proclaims their faith and lives it out like y'all do. So this season has been really good. So what are some quick highlights of this season?
Quick highlights, you know, definitely, you know, obviously going 11-0, you know, not many teams get to be able to be blessed to do that. But I'd say definitely, like, besides our playoff game, the last 2 games of the year, just seeing what God can do through a team whenever you just keep constantly putting your faith into him, just knowing that he can take care of it. And, you know, he had some victories that I'd call them miracle-type victories, you know, just God just kind of working on the field through us. And, you know, that I'll always remember those games for the rest of my life. But those games were awesome. They were sweet.
Yeah, so thank you, Bradley, and best of luck to the rest of the semester and the rest of the year.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Coming up next, we'll look at college football and upsets from the weekend in the NFL. Stay tuned.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
On Saturday, the 2 winningest teams in college football history faced off in what is arguably the most important game in the rivalry's history. The number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes were on the road against the number 3 Michigan Wolverines in Ann Arbor. With both teams 11-0 and not only a spot in the Big Ten title game on the line, but also a playoff berth, this game had a lot riding on it. The Buckeyes got down early 7-0 after intercepting quarterback Kyle McCord helped the Wolverines jump ahead. The Wolverines scored again later on a great pass to Roman Wilson for a touchdown, putting them up 14-3. However, the Buckeyes would respond and go back and forth, led by All-American Marvin Harrison Jr. However, Michigan would impose their will on the top-ranked Buckeyes defense by running the football in the second half. The Wolverines would make a field goal to go up 30-24 with 1:06 left. However, Rod Moore's interception in Michigan's territory with 25 seconds left sealed a 30-24 win for the Wolverines on Saturday, running their win streak over the Buckeyes to 3 games while staying unbeaten with Jim Harbaugh serving out a suspension. Michigan will play Iowa next week in the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis.
Only the Iron Bowl could produce 2 such miracles 10 years apart. It took 10 years, but Alabama at least got its revenge. Auburn has the kick 6, and now Alabama has the 4th and 31. While Alabama led by 3 at halftime, a touchdown on Auburn's first possession in the second half put it in the lead for much of the remainder of the game. The Tigers had the chance to complete the upset, but with 5 minutes on the clock, the punt receiver dropped the ball, turning it over. Alabama ultimately scored on that drive. Alabama defeated Auburn with a score of 27-24. Nick Saban's team already booked a spot in next week's SEC championship, but the win keeps their playoff hopes alive. A second loss would have knocked them out of national contention. The Kansas City Chiefs traveled to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Kansas City fell behind 14-0 in the second quarter, but tied it by halftime and pulled away after that. Pacheco rushed for a 1-yard score, and Mahomes connected with Justin Watson on a 3-yard touchdown, 25 seconds before the break. The Chiefs took a 21-14 lead to open the second half on another 1-yard Pacheco touchdown run. They took full control early in the fourth when Mahomes converted a 3rd and 6 with a short pass to Rice, who maneuvered down the left sideline for a 39-yard touchdown and a 28-17 lead. The Chiefs pulled off another second half win to defeat the Raiders 31-17.
Sunday night, the Buffalo Bills traveled to play in Philadelphia against the Eagles in a clash between two talented teams, both who had Super Bowl aspirations coming into this season. The Bills, needing a big win to turn their season around, got out to a great start after a rushing and passing touchdown from Allen put the Bills up 17-7 going into half. However, the Eagles were not fazed after coming back against the Chiefs 1 week prior. Hurts would throw a touchdown pass on 3 straight possessions, putting the Eagles back on top, 28-24. Buffalo would respond, however, going on a 10-play, 74-yard touchdown drive to take back the lead. This gave the Eagles just under 2 minutes to tie or take the lead. Hurts would lead the Eagles and give them a chance to tie the game with 20 seconds left. Kicker Jake Elliott made a tough 59-yard field goal in swirling wind and rain to send the game to overtime. In overtime, the Bills would get the ball first and score a field goal, forcing the Eagles to match it or lose the game. After Swift broke loose on a 16-yard run, Hurts would win the game on a designed quarterback run as he extended his hands out in victory. The Eagles would improve to 10-1 on the season, while the Bills fall to 6-6, in danger of not making the playoffs. Yeah, so we had a lot of different football games going on between NFL and college, but last night, on Monday Night Football, the Bears had a huge upset against the Vikings.
They did.
The Vikings still with their backup quarterback, Joshua Dobbs. He threw 4 interceptions, and the Bears were able to win 12-10 with only field goals.
Yeah. And that was a really low-scoring game. I know that they said it looked like a baseball game at one time just because of how low-scoring the game was. But also, this week for college football was rival week. And so every game was almost really close, and it had a lot of competition, and so it was just really fun to watch. I know that Alabama-Auburn game, it looked like Auburn was going to win the whole game, and the fans were going crazy. And then Alabama, they ended up getting the interception at the very end. They didn't end up counting it, but they ended up intercepting like the 2-second mark at the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But Alabama.
Yeah, Auburn had a chance to secure the victory. They had the drop punt. They had the 4th down, and then Alabama almost had that interception for a touchdown, like you said.
Yeah, and it's crazy. 10 years apart from they played last time. And Auburn won that time with the field goal. Yeah.
And then also the Bills-Eagles game was such a really good game. The Bills, like I said, needed a game to come back and just get the momentum back because they're 6-6 now, 500. They were supposed to be leading their division. They're not even winning their division.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are winning their division.
And now they're in playoff jeopardy, so we'll see what happens there.
When we come back, we'll have the EUTV Player of the Week.
We'll also have your upcoming Evangel games this week. We'll be right back.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
It's been a great week for the Valor sports teams.
It has, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to compete in this upcoming week as well. Well, EUTV has the opportunity to showcase one of our very own student athletes.
It's time now for EUTV Sports Player of the Week.
This week's EUTV Player of the Week is Brock Lyle. Brock is a freshman wide receiver and from Rolla, Missouri. Brock Lyle helped Evangel get into the end zone for its only touchdown of the game with 43 seconds left in the first half. Lyle led the Valor with 6 catches for 53 yards. Brock played in all 12 football games this season as a freshman. Great job, Brock, on this outstanding season.
Yeah, Brock has played in every game this season. That's crazy, especially as a freshman. You don't usually get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, and then he had 53 yards with 6 catches. Really good for a freshman, especially, like you mentioned.
And also his season's been good as well because he had that game-winning touchdown catch against Southwestern as well. So great job, Brock.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at our upcoming Evangel games of the week. Men's basketball has 2 games, Wednesday, November 29th at York at 7 p.m. and Saturday, December 2nd at home versus McPherson at 2 p.m.
Women's basketball also has 2 games, Wednesday, November 29th at York at 5 p.m. and then Saturday, December 2nd at home versus McPherson at noon. Go Evangel Valor.
Yeah, so we have a couple different games we can go support. Home games for the men and the women. It's a good time to go support them during the before finals week, take a break from studying, just go support them.
Yeah, and it's one of our last opportunities on campus this semester. So if you're not doing anything Saturday, definitely go support our men's and women's basketball team.
Sure.
Well, that's all the time that we have today for Sports Update. We invite you to check out euvalormedia.com for all the latest Evangel news and media. I'm Cadence Washam.
And I'm Eric Patterson. This is our last show of the semester, so be sure to tune in next semester as we bring you the latest in sports news. For more information on Evangel Sports, go to evangelathletics.com. Us at Sports Update, as we approach the holiday season, want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and can't wait to see you next semester in January. This has been Sports Update on EUTV.